bloody thing is supposed to be one-sided. Better. Morning, folks. Just get you up on the big screen, if I can. Okay. Anyway, good morning. How are we all this morning? On the second day of Jubilee celebrations. Where are we? 92, nearly there. Anyway, good morning, folks. It's right, 104. Let's get this broadcast underway. I don't have a lot for you today, folks, if you can imagine, because I've been dodging the Jubilee the same way you guys have been dodging the Jubilee, and there's nothing out there but Jubilee. There's a few bits I have picked up on, but so it's Indytruck Davy out the truck and at home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it is overcast and 13 degrees. That's the weather forecast for Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. You want to know what it's like where you are? Look out your own bloody one day, alright? Right, so let's move on. Thursday started with just a couple of teams in the rags. Two main teams, right? And that would be the Chaos, which is set to come down the line, metaphorically and truly speaking, with train drivers being balloted for strike action after rejecting the 2.4% pay rise. Alright, so that was one of the big stories in the rags here in Scotland yesterday. And the other one, of course, is the Duchess of Balmoral's Platinum Jubilee celebrations as 70 years on the throne as Queen of England. Alright, so I've only got one bit to report on the Jubilee, and we'll get to that soon, alright, because as I say, there's not a lot here today. Right, moving on, Thursday down that road, in the House of Thieves and Carpetbaggers, and the evil one, Pretty awful Patel, comes out fighting to save Big Dog Bojo the Clown's skin. Patel tells Tory MPs to stop pissing around, and that they have more important things to be getting on with, like the Tory cost of living crisis, or getting into the people trafficking game. Alright, so as we know, Pretty Patel in the Home Office is just about getting into people trafficking, so there we go. Anyway, so she tells the MPs, stop pissing about, we've got the cost of living crisis, a crisis created by the Tories, to get on me, and of course Patel wants to get into the people trafficking game, alright? Now, Patel tells the MPs, the Tory MPs, that Bojo the Clown, Big Dog, is the best man to lead the government and lead the UK through the cost of living crisis which he has created. Alright, but there's one thing that Patel just doesn't seem to get. That's no Bojo's modus operandi. Bojo's modus operandi is to fuck everything he touches, metaphorically and physically, God knows how many wains he's got, and then walk away and leave everybody else to clean up the mess. That's how Bojo operates. So it would appear Patel hasn't got the memo. Bojo can't be the best person to lead us through this crisis, because let's face it, he bloody well created it, and now he's sitting on his thumbs, doing very little about it, alright? So, that was Patel coming out in favour of Big Dog keeping his job. So, as we know, Operation Say Big Dog 2.0 is underway. And apparently, Operation Big Dog was named by the Big Dog himself. Dog with clown shoes and a clown hat. Brilliant. Right, moving on, Thursday. And the palace announces that Randy Andy, the disgraced royal sex offender, will not be taking part in Jubilee celebrations, as he has contracted COVID. And there's a Davy says, I heard it. He's been kept in the closet out the road, so that the crowd outside don't shout, hey ma'am, where's my 12 million quid that she used to pay up and these sex offences. Alright, Moving on, Thursday, also down that road, Dame Sarah Khan, a human rights activist and government advisor on anti-terror strategy, says the UK's flagship programme to prevent the radicalisation of people isn't working. It's not working because the UK government failed to explain to the Muslim communities what the programme was about and what it's for. Right, Dame Sarah Khan said because the government didn't intervene and make sure that communities knew what this programme was for and who would be applicable to go in it, the programme has failed, leaving a void that can be filled by Islamist extremists. Anyway, the scheme is known as Prevent, and it was launched in 2007. And up to 2020, which is the latest figures they've got, 6,000 people have been referred to the programme. Dame Sarah Khan also advises the government on social cohesion, and she said there wasn't any between the communities. Anyway, Dame Sarah Khan has now been seconded to Wee Govey's office because he's the Minister for Levelling Up, and it's hoped that as they go forward and whatever levelling up is, that Dame Sarah can advise Wee Govey on social cohesion. Alright, so moving on, Thursday, and the MOD is being criticised over procurement of IAX reconnaissance armoured vehicles. The MOD has signed a contract for 5.5 billion quid for 589 vehicles. Now 12 years on and 3.5 billion pounds down, and only 26 vehicles have been delivered. And the 26 vehicles that have been delivered for trial have all been put off the road because they're crap, they're duffers. Everybody who's tried to operate the new reconnaissance armoured vehicle has ended up injured because of excess vibrations, excess noise, and a leak of exhaust fumes into the bloody vehicles. Anyway, the MOD, the MOD says they'll get in tappy and there won't be any further cost to the public plus because it's a fixed contract. But, 12 years into the job, they've only got 26 motors and they're all busted. It's not a good sign, is it? And they're talking about ferries at 250 million quid. Geez, 12 years to design an armoured vehicle and it still doesn't bloody work. Wow. And they've only got 26 of them delivered. Hey, when it comes to procurement, the Scottish Government isn't a patch in the Muppets doing that road, Crossrail, or the Jubilee line, whatever they're calling it now. 4.4 billion quid and 2 years late and still no finished. HS2, 52 billion quid our budget and it's only gone to Birmingham. Brilliant. And they talk about the Scottish Government. Anyway, the MOD have been told by the Commons Defence Select Committee to get a grip of this farce. Either get the programme sorted or ditch the bloody thing. And that would be 3.5 billion of our money up in smoke, Brilliant. Right, let's move on. Moving on. Thursday afternoon comes round and ASLEF, the train drivers' union, talks with ScotRail over a pay deal are going well and a deal could be reached soon. The talks resume on Monday. So in the morning they're balloting for strikes, in the afternoon they're saying talks are going well. Ever get the feeling that people are being messed about? Especially the travelling public. I feel sorry for the train drivers in this one because, as we know, ASLEF and the top whackers and ASLEF are all affiliated to the Labour Party, so it could well be that the train drivers are getting pissed about because, as we know, the Labour Party and the trade unions intend to create havoc here in Scotland or pay settlements. They know fine well the Scottish Government's on a fixed budget, and by anything that goes on to their pay excessively means that other services will need to be cut. But Labour don't care. They just want to create chaos and disruption so that they can say SNP bad. Aye, Stephen, I was a bit surprised I found any news yesterday, I know. Right, moving on. Thursday evening rolls round and it's rumoured that the 54-letter threshold for a vote of no confidence in Bojo the Clown has been reached, alright. Now, It's rumoured that the 1922 committee won't make an announcement until after the Jubilee celebrations. That is if the 54 letters stay in, alright. But that prompts Jacob Rees-Mogg to hit the TV screens last night, especially the Gammon TV, you know, that new Talk TV and was it British TV or Gammon TV, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, he hits the Gammon TV to tell the Gammons that Bojo the Clown should stay in office because he's the only man who could bring home the Brexit benefits. Brexit benefits. Bojo's the only man that can bring the Brexit benefits home. Brilliant. The Brexit benefits. That were the Brexit benefits that Jacob Rees-Mogg is the Minister for finding, and so far he's had to go to Sunreaders to ask for their suggestions. I think number one on the suggestions was to allow Hoovers to have a wattage of up to 1700 watts or something like that. Absolutely mental. Another Brexit bonus, the pint sets back into the side of pint glasses. There you go, crown sorry back inside of Brexit. Anyway, so Jacob Rees-Mogg, who is the Minister for Brexit Opportunities, is on the telly saying that only Bojo can bring home those Brexit opportunities. What bloody opportunities? This lot flipped it, man. Absolutely flipped it. You think the Muppets doing that road keep voting for them too? Unbloody believable. Right, moving on. Thursday, and President Zelensky of the Ukraine tells the West that Russia now hold a fifth of his country. Back here in the UK, the Ministry of Defence say Putin's army are making large gains in the Donbass and Luhansk regions. Putin's sacked 5 of his generals and replaced them with generals that seem to know what they're doing or have the belly for the fight. So things are turning around in Ukraine. Right, now Western unity on Ukraine is also starting to falter. The USA and the UK say that Putin must be driven out of all of Ukraine. France and Germany had held an 80-minute phone call with Putin to find out what it would take for a ceasefire. The UN are also nipping Putin's ear because the UN wants Ukrainian grain to be able to make it to market. Because if the Ukrainian grain doesn't make it to market, there could be a humanitarian crisis in the African continent, which is where most of the Ukrainian grain is sold. To Africa and India as well, you know, also Asia. So, the UN are really trying to get a way open for the Ukrainian food grain to make it onto the market, because if not, there could be real problems in the African continent, alright? So, it would appear that Putin's turned the corner in his conflict. Will he stop once he takes the Donbass and Luhansk regions? That's the question. Will he stop there and leave the rest of Ukraine intact? Or will he continue for there, alright? Right, and finally for Thursday, this is the big story in the press today. Finally for Thursday, the Scottish Retail Consortium says shoppers are not returning to the high street. In May, footfall in Scotland's stores was down 16.4% on 2019 or pre-pandemic, alright? Now, footfall across the UK was down 12.5% for the same period, so that's a UK average, 12.5. There is a league table there in the Retail Consortium's report, and Scotland is at the bottom for footfall, but you've got to remember the average wage in Scotland is about £9,000 short of £9,000 less than the average wage in England. So, you know, people in Scotland already had less disposable income anyway, okay. Now, it's expected the cost of living crisis means people who have less disposable income to spend on the high street are not spending, they can't go to the high street, simple as that. So footfall's down by 16.4%, and it will get worse as we get into the year. We've spoken about this. If we Mrs McGlumper suddenly pay £2,500 a year for electricity, she can't afford that new washing machine, new carpet, new telly. Simple as that. People need money to spend into the economy. You've all heard me say this, economy contracts. Alright, so that's what I've got for you folks, and it was very difficult to find anything other than the red arrows and gunfire and lighting lanterns and bunting bloody everywhere. So, Let's move on to the papers and see what the papers have to say, won't we? So here we go. This is not going to be pretty. Let's see what the papers have to say this morning. Scotland's papers, Queen gets party started and summer chaos warning. The Herald, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Bang, that's it. The Times, beaming Queen gets her party started. The right-wing only ragged the Daily Fail. Didn't we give her a deafening cheer? And as Queen pulls out of St Paul's service, oh, how we'll miss her today. No, we won't. No, we won't. Hey, I don't think anybody in Scotland's put a bloody TV set on. The Eye has history maker and a picture of old Lizzie. I have to say she's looking haggard. The Daily Telegraph has a glorious day even for the Prince of Wales, and that's got a picture of one of the princelings screaming with his horns out of his ears. I think it's because they're cheering up for the crowd when the jelly bean went onto the balcony. The Scottish Daily Express has the other loony right-wing rag, incredible. It's got a picture of the Queen, and it's looking down the mall as they're all looking towards the balcony, and there is, well, thousands and thousands and thousands of people. But you know, like they're down that road, you know, they're very very tied to their class system and their ideas that these people are their betters. Right, the Daily Record has lovely jubbly, picture of the Queen, and exclusive summer of chaos, Scots face holiday hell with a chronic airport staff shortages. Unions warns huge queues this week about to get worse. Like, chronic airport staff shortages. It's their own bloody fault. They should have had people in training when furlough was on. They should have retained the bloody people. What else we got? The Scotsman has six-figure payout revealed in boarding school abuse claim, and that's Fettes College. It settles out of court over £1 million worth. Right, where's the National? The National has Scottish sport and screen star backs Indy referendum funding. Indy ref cash is giving people hope. Actor Roy, Scots will lose a lot more than 20 million if we stay in this union. And that was the real lassie that for the Scots squad, I think it's called. I don't watch television, as you know, who was on the debate on the BBC Scotland channel, debate night. And when it came round to questioning about the funding for an Indy ref too, she said one thing that Nicola didn't say, and that was, right, we've got a mandate, so the referendum needs to happen. And she made the point that if we stay within the union, then we're going to be a lot worse off than what we would be if we went our own way. So there you have it. And what's the sun got for? What's the star got for his day? The day. The star for his got for us today is a majestic display. Picture of red arrows flying across the capital, I presume, down there in that there Englandshire. And the main headline in the Star is travel chaos, nutcases. Holidaymakers must ditch suitcases to avoid airport hell. So that's what I've got for you today, folks. I hope you found it entertaining. I hope you found it enjoyable. Not that there was much news out there. I'm glad it's the weekend. I don't know what I'm going to have for you on Monday. I really don't, because I don't see any real news being about early weekend. But we'll get something. We'll get something, all right. So that's it. Remember, folks, there are no elections going on. It's time to get our eyes on the prize. Partisan politics inward pockets, and learn your how you goties and get there and win hearts and minds. Now, I keep saying I'm going to do another how you gony video, but I think what David and I might do is we might cover the how you gonies in the two Davy shows on a Thursday. Day one, how you gony at a time, you know, and we'll address the stupid questions that the unionists are going to ask us, like how you going to do borders, how you going to do currency, how you going to do international trade, that sort of thing. You know, I think we might cover them in the Two Davy show on a Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock. So, thanks for tuning in today, folks. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Oh, hold on, forgot. Support the independent media. And if they've got a crowdfunder going, you've got to check out Spare Throat in the Pot. And health messaging. Remember, follow the guidance, face coverings and codes for public places. Clean your hands and surfaces regularly. Use your napper when it comes to social distancing. If you're still testing, send in your test results to NHS Scotland so we can track the stuff in the community, okay? That's what I've got for you guys. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining me today and every day. And thanks for joining the Two Davy show yesterday at 4 o'clock. As I say, the How You Gonies, I think David and I will cover the How You Gonies. Defence, borders, trade, currency, all that stuff. I think David and I will cover them on the Thursday show, the Two Davy show. Okay. Catch you guys later. But have a nice weekend. Sarah, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Madam Director says bye. Have a nice weekend.